Tasmai Shri Guru Sri Chaitanya Mano Vishlam Stapitam Yena Budale Swayam Rupatamahyam Tadambi Swapatantikam Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Budale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Dinamini Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshani Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Bhaktivinoda Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna. So today let's see about Bhagavad Gita chapter 6 verse 37 to 47. Okay, by this we'll finish our chapter, this chapter 6 chapter. Okay, so we'll start with 6.37. So you can take 1 week leave, in the sense next week you can take an off, and then after that we can have our exam. Okay, you should have a sloka exam also. So if possible, next week we can have sloka exam. Is it okay for everyone? Focus from chapter 1 to 6 next Sunday, if it's okay for all. Just you can come. Yes, Mataji.
Okay, Mataji.
Yeah, just come, and you have to on your video in Zoom, and then you can chant any 3 slokas, important slokas from chapter 1 to 6 with translation. The translation need not be word to word from the book. Whatever you understood, you can just chant, and I'll note your name and the marks. Marks depends on your fluency, your pronunciation, your ability to remember, and also to ability to understand the verse. So all this I'll check, and then we can give the marks. And then that week you take a break, and then next week, next to next week, that is after that week, we'll have our closed book exam. Okay, written exam. Okay. Hare Krishna. So 37 to 39 is about Arjuna's inquiry about fate of a fallen yogi. So what happens to a unsuccessful yogi, a person who is not able to complete his yoga? What will happen to him? Ayati Shraddaya Shraddayopeta Yoga Chalite Manasaha Akrapya Yoga Samsiddhim Kamgatim Krishna Gachati. Arjuna said, "O Krishna, what is the destination of the unsuccessful transcendentalist who in the beginning takes to the process of self-realization with faith, but who later, this is due to worldly mindedness, thus does not attain perfection in mysticism?" So he's asking what will happen to them, like who's not successful, right? Yoga. Arjuna is inquisitive to know about the results of deviation from the path of self-realization. One may begin the process with faith, but later this is due to worldly mindedness. And the analogy is such a man perish like a riven cloud with no position in any sphere. Can someone say the example of a riven cloud? What is Prabhupada mentioning? If you see this, Chinno bhaya vibrastas chinna bram iva nashyati apradishto mahabaho vimudo brahmanapati. O mighty armed Krishna, does not such a man who is bewildered from the path of transcendence fall away from both spiritual and material success and perish like a riven cloud with no position in any sphere? So did you get the example of the riven cloud? You see in the middle of the puppet, 6.38, you'll get it. Anybody got? That's a Bhakti Shastri question. What is the analogy of a riven cloud? Yes.
A small cloud joins the big cloud.
Yes. So what happens? Sometimes there you can see a big cloud and a small cloud get disconnected from it. But the small cloud will be taken away by the wind and it will just go away. It can't join the main cloud. So it just get lost somewhere. So similarly, somebody is doing yoga and could not complete the yogic process. It's like he's kind of lost. So he's asking, is he like that, a riven cloud? So riven cloud means Prabhupada mentions here in the 6.38, but a cloud sometimes deviate from joins the big. But if it cannot join the big one, then it is blown away by the wind and becomes a non-entity in the vast sky. So similarly, somebody who's trying to realize Brahman will really get lost like that. But then Bhakti Yoga, we know, Salpam Abhyasa Dharmasya Trayade Mahado Bhayat. It will save us from great dangers. Okay, this is now. I might have network issues, sorry for that. So it is said, whatever small devotional service we do, it will save us from great dangers, no? So what do you mean by that? Does anyone know? What do you mean by saving from great dangers? What is the greatest danger which we are going to face? Greatest danger we're going to face. So in that sloka, I think second chapter, 40th sloka, it says, yes. What is yes, Manjula Mataji, what is the greatest danger we're going to face?
We are going to take birth again, Mataji. We'll fall into the cycle again.
We're going to fall, yes, we're going to take rebirth again. You're partially right. There's one more point.
We might also take an animal form body.
Yes, who told that? Ramya Mataji.
Yes.
Very good. Yeah, very good. So that's what. So as Manjula Mataji said, yes, the repeated birth, next birth is a dangerous thing. But the most greatest danger is to go in the animal form of life. See, I'm quoting from second chapter, 40th sloka, Srila Prabhupada's commentary from Bhagavad Gita as it is. Neha vikramanasosti pratyavayona vidyate salpamapi sadharmasya drayade mahadopaya. In this endeavor, there is no loss or diminution, and a little advancement on this path can protect one from the most dangerous type of fear. And in the purport towards the end, Prabhupada writes, at least one is sure to have a chance in the next life of being again as human being if you do devotional service, right? In a Brahmin family or a rich aristocratic family. But the greatest danger is to fall into a species of animal form of life. So that's the greatest danger. Okay. So if you chant Hare Krishna, what happens? You have a chance. Chance nahi, that's 100% sure you're going to get a human form next. But if you don't do devotional service, then what happens? You will become an animal. So that means what? You have to repeat again the 84 lakh species of life. It's so difficult, right? That's the greatest type of fear. To be born in an animal form of life is the greatest danger here. Yes, any species, especially animal species, Mataji, because animals are just for eating, defending. Aharam nidra bhayamaitanam. Aharam nidra bhayamaitanam cha. Samane edat pashubir narana. Dharmohitesho adiko vishesho. Dharme nahina pashubir samana. So eating, mating, sleeping, and defending is equal. Samane edat pashubir narana. It's equal for animal and man. But what is that which differentiates from animal and human? Dharma. Dharmohitesho adiko vishesho. Dharme nahina. If you don't do dharma, then pashubir samana. We are equal to animal. So here, the greatest danger of fear of danger or fear is to fall into an animal species of life. Okay. So when we do devotional service, we are guaranteed to have a human form next, at least a human form. Right. And then he's going to say what will happen to an unsuccessful yogi. So the example given is of a riven cloud. Now, knowledge that the living entity, basic principle of self-realization is to know that we are not this material body, we are spirit soul, and we are different from he is different from the body, and his happiness is the eternal life of bliss and knowledge, and eternal life is transcendental beyond both body and mind. So there are three paths of self-realization. One is Jnana Yoga, path of knowledge. Ashtanga Yoga, the eightfold yoga system, Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, and all that. Then devotional service or Bhakti Yoga. So devotional service is the highest. Why? Because Krishna himself says, Yoginam abhi sarvesha madgade nandaratmana shraddhavan bhajate yomaham same yuktatamo mada. I think that's this chapter's last sloka, no? 647. Krishna says that. Yes, out of all the yogis, Bhakti Yogi is the best. Why? Why is Bhakti Yogi the best? Out of all the Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yogis, Karma Yogis, why Bhakti Yogi is the best? Why Krishna says he is the best? Yoginam abhi sarvesha. Of all the yogis, Bhakti Yogi is the highest. That is my opinion. Krishna says it's his opinion. That's a very important sloka. sloka, 6th chapter, 47th sloka. But why is Bhakti Yogi the highest? Yes, why it's already given in this slide. Okay, it gives here, it's the most direct method of God realization, and all culminates in Bhakti Yoga. And in Bhakti Yoga, you're directly associating with Krishna, the Supreme Person, Bhagavan. What are the 3 stages of realizing the absolute truth? 3 stages. What are the 3 stages you can realize God? Yes,
Brahman, Paramatma, and
Bhagavan, right? So Brahmedi, Paramatmedi, Bhagavanedi, Shabdavedi. So in that, Bhagavan is the highest. Why? Because you're having a personal relationship. When you chant Hare Krishna, when you do deity worship, when you are cooking for the Lord, when you're working for Krishna, anything you do to Krishna, the person, that's the highest. You can have a rasa, the bhav, and you can go back to Krishna's world. But Brahman and Paramatma is just inside, the secondary part, right? It's not the highest. So Bhakti Yoga is the highest because that will take directly to Krishna, Krishna Loka. So we have to realize our relation with God, that's called Sambandha. Then what is the process to re-establish our lost relationship with Krishna? That's Avideya, that's Bhakti. And the highest stage is love of God or Prayojana. So it is said, Krishna Sambandha, that's what my relation with Krishna. Bhakti Avideya, that's a process to do to reach Krishna. And Prema Prayojana, that's Prema is the goal of. So Bhakti Sambandha, Krishna Sambandha, Bhakti Abhideya, and Prema Prayojana. So these are the 3 things involved in self-realization. So Bhakti Yogi is the highest because it's a direct method, and all of the method culminates to Bhakti Yoga. So why is Arjuna asking this question? Because this what? In 2.40, Neho Bikraman Associate, Arjuna wants to be reassured because one may sincerely accept the process but still fail because of various reasons. Yeah, very difficult. One may not be about the Prabhupada says to pursue the transcendental path is more or less like war, Maya, illusionary energy. Consequently, whenever escape the clutches of illusionary energy, she tries to defeat the practitioner by various allurements. Is my voice breaking? Is it okay? Like have some network problem. Is it okay? Yeah, sometimes it breaks. So I know what to do. It was raining and now it's again. Okay. So significance of yoga chalita manasa means deviation from transcendental path. A conditioned soul is always allured by the modes of material energy. And there is every chance of being allured again while performing transcendental discipline. So Maya can attack anybody. Now Arjuna is again asking what will happen, right? So those transcendentalists who fail to complete Bhakti Yoga or the yogic practice. So what will happen to them if one is aspiring a transcendentalist who fail? So does one lose both material happiness and spiritual success? So there are 2 progress, material and spiritual. Material path means no interest in transcendence and more interest in material advancement by economic development, promotion to higher planets. They go to Swargalok. And path of transcendence means one has to cease all the activities and sacrifice all forms for so-called material happiness. They'll get spiritual. So Arjuna is comparing the failed yogi to a riven cloud. So what is it about a riven cloud? Because he apparently loses both connection, material happiness or spiritual success. It's like a cloud from the sun and cannot find the big cloud and is blown away by wind. Now, especially rainy season, you see a big cloud coming, and then after some time you see that cloud is broken. There'll be a small cloud, and then the wind comes and it's just gone. You can't see that cloud. Neither it joins the big cloud nor it joins the small cloud. It's alone and it's taken away by the wind. So similarly, he's asking the yogi, neither he's enjoying material thing, neither he's into spiritual. What will happen? Now we are all stuck like that. Did we all feel? I'm not able to enjoy like a perfect karmi. I am not able to go to beach or park or movies, not like before I was. So I'm not a karmi. Now, I'm not a pure devotee as well. I'm not chanting Shuddhanam. I'm not into the bhava or prema stage. Now, where are we? We are stuck. We are neither able to enjoy like a karmi, nor we're getting the real happiness of a pure devotee. We are like somewhere stuck in the middle. Now, we all feel that. But Prabhupada's like, so that's like a riven cloud. Neither we can join a big cloud like karmis or small clouds like big clouds like pure devotees or small clouds like karmis. We are in the middle. So will we be blown away by wind or by time? No. Prabhupada's like, no, unsuccessful yogi, Shuchinam Srimadam Gehe will be reborn in a Vaishnava family, right? So, yeah, path of transcendental realization is called Brahmana Pati, understanding oneself to be spiritual and part and parcel of Krishna. Mamevamsho Jiva Loke, Jiva Bhuta Sanadana. Krishna says, we are all part and parcel of Krishna. Krishna is manifested as Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. Ultimate goal of transcendentalism is to surrender to Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now, in the 39th sloka, only Krishna can satisfy Arjuna's doubts. It is said, Etan me samshayam Krishna chetum arhasya sheshataha vad anya samsaya sesya cheta nahi upapadyate. This is my doubt, O Krishna, and I ask you to dispel it completely. But for you, no one is to be found who can destroy this doubt. He's telling nobody can destroy this doubt except you. Only Krishna can do that. So why only Krishna? No one else can satisfy Arjuna's doubt, because Krishna knows the past, present, and future. Krishna knows our previous janma, present janma, the future janma also Krishna knows. Not only us, 84 lakh species, right? He knows everyone's. Also, no one is equal or above Krishna. Matta paradaram nan anyan. Certainly, the so-called great sages and philosophers who are at the mercy of material nature cannot equal him. So, conclusion is, the verdict of Krishna is final and complete answer to all doubts. Right? He knows everything, but no one knows Krishna. Only pure devotees know Krishna. So, on what basis does Arjuna expect Krishna to know everything? Because 2.12 says Krishna is the Krishna is eternal, and he explains the eternal individuality of every living entity. This shows that Krishna must be knower of past, present, and future. So Arjuna expects him to reveal the future of unsuccessful transcendentalists. Prabhupada concludes by saying that Krishna and Krishna conscious devotees alone know what is what. So he is having a doubt what will happen to the transcendentalists. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha Parthanaiveha Namutra Vinasastasya Vidyate Nahi Kalyana Krukashit Durgatim Tadagachati. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, son of Pritha, a transcendentalist engaged in auspicious activities does not meet with destruction either in this world or in the spiritual world. One who does good, my friend, is never overcome by evil. So it's like there's no destruction. Krishna says now to Arjuna, like, Kaudeya pradhichanihi name bhakta pranashti. Why is Krishna telling Arjuna to declare that my devotees will never perish? Krishna himself could declare, no? Why is Krishna saying, Kaudeya, Arjuna, you say that my devotees will never perish? Why does Krishna say so? I mean, Krishna can declare, no? Why is he telling Arjuna to say? Why? Krishna can say, yes, Suresh Prabhu?
Practically, he wants to show to us that his disciple is.
Yes, through his disciples, he wants to practically show that, yes, because in Arjuna's case, it was proven that, right, Name Bhakta Pranashati, that Pandavas were not destroyed at the end of the battle. So, yes, that's one thing. What about Krishna's promise? Like, did Krishna take a vow before the battle? And did he break it? He took a vow, no, before the 18 days of Kurukshetra war.
Mataji.
Yeah, what did he take? What vow did he take?
He told that he would never touch the weapon. He would never take up the weapon. But to protect Arjuna, he did. So God can do anything for his devotees. He's always under the control of devotees. That is what Krishna. And when he comes down, basically he comes for dharma samstapana, but he truly comes to give the pleasure of his pastimes to his devotees.
Yeah. So here in that pastime which Mother said, actually Duryodhana and Arjuna both approached Krishna, right? Please come. So Arjuna took Krishna and Duryodhana took the Narayan Sena. So at that time, Krishna said, I will come as a chariot driver, but I will not take any weapon. But Krishna's words, I mean, that was Krishna's promise, but Krishna broke his promise, as Mataji said, to protect his devotee, his Bhakta Valsala. Now, why did Krishna break the promise? Yes, when Bhishma Dev was attacking Arjuna, he got down of the chariot, he took the chakra of the wheel of the chariot and barged at Bhishma. That's why he's called Chakrapani. But why did Bhishma attack Arjuna in that way? Why did Krishna break his promise? Yes, to protect Arjuna, true. What else? This pastime is happening on what basis? Does anyone know what happened? Yes, Prabhu. It's a nice story. Okay, now what happened is, when the battle was going on, Duryodhan was so angry at Pandavas because Krishna, nothing is happening. Nobody is dying from Pandava's side. So Duryodhan got so angry, and at night he went to Bhishma Dev's tent. They all sleep in tent in the battlefield. So Duryodhan went and said, Bhishma Dev, you're not killing the Pandavas. It's been like so many days now. I thought you're so strong enough to kill the Pandavas. And Bhishma, if you take one oath, he will never break it. He took an oath that he'll become lifetime brahmachari. He became a brahmachari. He never married. So when Bhishma Dev took a vow, if he will keep it, no matter what. So Duryodhan, just to agitate Bhishma Dev, went to his tent and said, you won't even kill the 5 Pandavas, because Duryodhan knows that inside somewhere Bhishma Dev liked the Pandavas. So somehow he agitated Bhishma Dev's mind, and Bhishma Dev took 5 arrows and said, tomorrow I'll kill all the Pandavas. All the 5 will be dead with these arrows. And if Bhishma says something, that's going to happen. Duryodhan overexcited, so happy. Oh, tomorrow Pandavas are going to die. Now, because of overexcitement, he did one thing. He's like, you're old man. If you keep these 5 arrows in your tent, someone will steal it. Some robbers will come. So give this 5 arrows to me. I will go and keep in my tent. That is overconfidence. Duryodhan took this 5 arrows, went to his room and slept. Like thinking that next day morning, Bhishma Dev will kill all the Pandavas. Now, who's knowing all this? Krishna. Krishna is as Paramatma in the heart of Bhishma Dev. He is also as Paramatma in Duryodhan's heart. And he is Bhaktavatsala. He wants to protect Arjuna. He has to protect his devotees. Arjuna was sleeping nicely in the tent, and Krishna went and woke him up. Arjuna, get up. What are you doing? Tomorrow, something bad is going to happen. Now, Krishna want to stop it somehow. So what did Krishna do? Of a promise that Duryodhana long back have promised Arjuna, you can ask any boon from me, Arjuna. And Arjuna is like, not now. So Krishna remembered about and told Arjuna, go now to Duryodhana's tent. There is 5 arrows kept underneath his pillow. Now ask that arrows back. So Krishna told Arjuna. Arjuna said, this is the middle of the night. What are you saying, Krishna? I'm not understanding anything. Krishna said, you don't have to understand anything. Just go ask for 5 arrows from Duryodhana. So Arjuna went because Krishna said. And Duryodhana was so happy to see Arjuna, because after the war, after the sunset, every day, they're like friends. Only during the war, they act as enemy. So Arjuna said, I want the boon. You remember long back you promised that you will give up boon to me. So it's like, what do you want? You want the kingdom? Take it for free. Then Arjuna is like, no, we Kshatriyas will fight for the kingdom. Now I have come for some other thing. You have 5 arrows, no, underneath your pillow. Just give that 5 arrows. Duryodhana was shocked. Duryodhana is like, only I and Bhishma Dev know this. How did Arjuna come to know? And then he has to give. So the 5 arrows, he was like, somehow gave it to Arjuna. And Arjuna took the 5 arrows and came. And when Duryodhana saw, he couldn't understand who did this. But Bhishma Dev came to understand that it was Krishna who played beside. So Krishna broke the promise of Bhishma. Now Bhishma's promise was to kill the Pandavas. Now Krishna broke Bhishma's promise. So Bhishma took a vow that tomorrow I'm going to break your promise. Krishna, you broke my promise today. Tomorrow I'll break your promise. So what did Bhishma Dev do? Put lot of arrows on Arjuna purposely. Try to kill Arjuna on that next day, so that he wants to see Krishna taking a weapon, because Krishna promised never to take a weapon. So since Krishna broke Bhishma's promise, Bhishma is going to break Krishna's promise. Now Bhishma is a devotee of Krishna. To satisfy Bhishma Dev, Krishna took the wheel of the chariot. Otherwise, Krishna can protect Arjuna like anything, just like that. You don't have to really take a weapon. But to satisfy Bhishma, because that was Bhishma's desire, and Bhishma is a nice devotee of Krishna, to satisfy his devotee, he broke his promise. So Krishna can break his promise to protect his devotee. So Krishna is saying that I might break my promise. Arjuna, my devotees will never break their promise. So you declare. Like how Prahlad Maharaj, when he said that Narasimhadev is going to come from this pillar, there were hundreds of pillars in that room, but Narasimhadev appeared from that particular pillar, which Prahlad pointed out. Like, why did Narasimhadev appear in that particular form? Namritam Namanisham, half man and half lion, because Brahma promised Hiranyakashipu, that he will not be dead with a man, any weapon in the not in the sky, not in the earth, not inside the house, outside the house, all that. To keep that promise, Narasimhadev appeared. So Nija Britya Pashitam. That means to keep the devotees' words true, Krishna can go to any extent. So that's what Krishna's Bhakta Valsala is. Okay, so now Krishna is answering that no misfortune will come to a transcendentalists. They'll never get punished. They will never get destroyed in this world or in the spiritual world. A transcendentalist is engaged in auspicious activities, meets no destruction either in this world or the spiritual world. Tyaktva sadarmam charanabujam hare bhajan apakva atapate tatoyati yatrakva avapatram aput amushakim kovarta apto apajatam swadharmata. This is from 1st Canto 5th chapter, verse number 17. If someone gives up all material prospects and take complete shelter of the Supreme Personality Godhead, there is no loss or degradation in any way. On the other hand, a non-devotee may fully engage in his occupational duties and yet not gain anything. Bhagavad Bhakti Hinasya Jati Shastram Japastapa Apranaseva Dehasya Mandanam Logaranjana. Bhagavad Bhakti Hinasya. If you don't have Bhagavad Bhakti, that is Bhakti to Krishna, then Jati Shastram Japastapa. Even if you are in a higher caste, born higher caste, high birth, Shastra, you do a lot of Shastra, Jati Shastram Japastapa, you do a lot of Japa, you do a lot of tapas, still Mandanam Loga Ranjanam. In the sense, Apranaseva Dehas, it's like decoration on a dead body. Now, what is the use of decorating a dead body? So much you decorate the dead body, no use, no? Finally, it's of no use. So like that. So if you're not a devotee, then how much of a wealth you have, how much of a properties you have, relatives you have, it's just a waste. It's like decorating on the dead body, right? So that's what Chaitanya Charitamrita says. So we should become, but on the other hand, if somebody has bhakti and is materially poor and have no relatives and no other possessions, he is the greatest person, or he is the one, he don't lose anything. Okay, this is the meaning of that sloka. Like Kolaveja Sridhar. Does anyone know about Kolaveja Sridhar? Who's he? Not heard about him. He's okay, Kolaveja Sridhar was a great devotee of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he used to sell banana leaves. Banana leaves. Small name, I go there and bargain and take bananas for free from Kolaveja Sridhar. Kolaveja Sridhar was a poor man. His clothes were all torn. His hut was all with holes and very, very poor. But then he had a lot of bhakti. So Mahaprabhu said that you are the greatest person because you have bhakti. Even if you don't have, you are the richest. Even if you don't have money, you have bhakti. Okay. So result of failure in discharging the transcendental activities is one has to suffer the reaction for not executing the prescribed duty. However, according to Srimad Bhagavatam, laws for not perfectly is still not a loser, because auspicious Krishna conscious activities is never gotten, and one so and continue to be so even if he is low born in the next life. Material perfection without Krishna consciousness, on the other hand, one who simply follows the prescribed duty but need not necessarily attain auspicious results if he is lacking Krishna consciousness. So bhakti is the most important thing, right? Rest everything is secondary. I still remember it was the Corona time, the peak times, and the vaccination was just coming, and all the medical professionals were given vaccination first because it's the field, right? So much exposure happens. So everybody was running for vaccine, and it was not available, the second dose and everything. And unless it was a point, like unless you get the certificate, you can't fly, you can't travel and all that. So yes. So then there was a pediatrician, and so what did he do? That pediatrician somehow wanted to get the vaccine and he didn't get, but somehow there was a last dose remaining and he took it, and he was very happy. He had the certificate and everything. And we were all happy for him. But after a few days, he got a heart attack. that means how much ever we and then what happened? It's so famous. We didn't do any devotional service. But what happened to all the knowledge and all the fame and power and positions? It's all gone with the body. No, Mrityu sarva harashaham. Death will take everything from us. It will everything except our devotional service. So whatever devotional service we did, it will definitely take us in a better way in next life. But then what will happen to all the other positions what we have? Again, we have to start from LKG, next life. But in spiritual life, wherever we stop, we can start from there. Okay. So, so that's why Bhakti is very important. So there is fruity workers. They like to be elevated to Swargalok, that is heavenly planets. But they are not free from material expenses. What will happen if you go to Swargalok? You've gone to Swarga, that is all the higher planetary system. What is the fate? What will happen?
After our punya
You
is
will have to
over,
come down.
come down.
Yeah. After the punya is over, you have to come down, right? Shrine punya martilogam vishanti. That means after the punya is over, like a visa. If the visa is over, you have to fly back. You have to come down. So heavenly planets is like that. It said that you have an international flight and somehow you were late and you got a taxi and somehow you reached after a big traffic block and everything. And you're like just 1 hour away from the flight and you have to do check-in and luggage and so many things. But then you reach the counter and you're like, you forgot your passport. when you forgot your passport, what should you do? Should again travel all the way back home, and then you have to miss the flight. You won't get it. Similarly, when you go up to the heavenly planets, once it is you are not getting your passport to go to spiritual world, you have to come back to this material world again. Right? But what is that ticket to go back to Godhead? Is the chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. That's why 16 rounds have to be done. Even if you don't have time, at least split your rounds. 4 rounds, 4, 4, 4, or 8 and 8. In that way, it's not hectic for you. Or else if you can do all the 16 rounds in 2 hours in Brahma Muhurta, that's the best thing. Okay, so fruity workers, they go to heavenly planets, but then they have to come down. So those who desire no fruit for sense gratification, that's Nishkama Karma Yogis, and seek of ultimate liberation from material existence, they are moksha-vadis. And there are devotees in Krishna consciousness. Only devotees can go back home, back to Godhead. The only auspicious activities in real sense are those which lead one to liberation. Any activity not aimed at ultimate self-realization or liberation from material bodily concept is inauspicious. So Krishna consciousness is all auspicious. It's the only auspicious activity. Anyone who voluntarily accepts all body discomfort for the sake of making progress on the path of Krishna consciousness is called a perfect transcendentalist under severe austerity. Some days it's raining so heavily, you feel like sleeping again, but then the devotees get up at Brahma Muhurta, 3:30, 4 o'clock, take bath and then go attend Mangalarati. Right? They could also sleep off, but still they voluntarily accept the discomfort. Why? For advancing in spiritual consciousness, spiritual path, right? And they sit and chant the rounds, and voluntarily they give up eating rice and cereals and pulses on Ekadashi day. Voluntarily they accept all the severities so as to advance. No. So what happens to an unsuccessful yogi? Now Krishna replies, Prapya punya kridam lokan usitva shashvadi sama shuchinam shrimadam gehe yoga prashto abhijayate. The unsuccessful yogi, after many years of enjoyment on the planets of the pious living entities, is born into a family of righteous people or into a family of rich aristocracy. So they'll never go lost. They either go born in the rich family or in a Brahmin family. So Arjuna is asking what will happen. By the grace of Lord, they are allowed to make full utilization of the material proper cities in the heavenly planets. They'll go to heavenly planets sometimes, but again they come back and live in a nice family, righteous or aristocratic family. So what is those who are born in such families may take advantage of these facilities. Like a rich man's son may not work so hard to earn a living. He might have already some properties and some things already ready for him. So in that way, he can concentrate more on religious things. And a Brahmana family, Vaishnava family, from day one itself, the baby gets used to the prasadam and devotees, everything, right? So that means they are definitely devotees from previous life. Adava yoginam eva kule bhavadi dhimatam edadhi durlabhat dharam loke janmayadi drisham. Or if unsuccessful after long practice of yoga, he takes his birth in a family of transcendentalists, especially great in wisdom. Certainly, such a birth is rare in this world. Okay, very rare. That is, such a yogi is given birth in the family of transcendentalists who are surely great in wisdom, like for acharyas, Goswamis. Srila Prabhupada was born in a very great Vaishnava family. His father was Gaur Mohan De and mother was Rajani. So, what does Prabhupada's father pray, ask from all the great sannyasis who come to his house? He'll tell, please bless my son to become a great devotee of Radharani. That's what his father Gaur Mohan De says. That's why Prabhupada says, I became a devotee because of my father. Because when Prabhupada was small, Abhecharan used to see Gaur Mohan De, his father, doing arti, doing mangla arti and all that. So children adopt what their parents do. We can't blame our children because they're not into Krishna consciousness. First, we should do. Then they like to imitate. They are like sponge. They absorb everything. So once we give nice consciousness to them, then automatically they'll pick up. No, so Prabhupada, all of them, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati is like a ray of Vishnu. Bhakti Vinod Thakur, his father, prayed to Lord, please send me a son who can take this movement forward of Lord Chaitanya. And then Lord gave him Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, his son, who's Prabhupada's guru. So all of them took birth in a Vaishnava family. And because of that, they became great devotees. Now the Acharyas and Goswami families degenerated due to insufficient education and training. Nowadays, it's going like that. So these are all is from previous life. Tatra tam buddhi samyogam lavate pauradehikam yadate cha tatubhuya samsiddha kurunandana. On taking such a birth, he revives the divine consciousness of his previous life and he again tries to make further progress in order to achieve complete success, O son of Kuru. So transcendentalists, what happens? They never go in vain. Okay, they get repeated opportunity for complete perfection in Krishna consciousness. So they revive the divine consciousness of previous life. Now, some children, they play mridanga, they sing nice kirtan so nicely. Some slokas, now you'll be shocked to hear the slokas they recite so nicely. They can grasp because they are reviving the lost consciousness, lost memory from previous life. Automatically, they are attracted to yogic principle without even seeking for them. Like Prahalad Maharaj says, I'm automatically attracted. You've seen iron rods, they get the iron chillets, they get attracted to magnet automatically. Only when it is rusted, it can't get attracted. Similarly, we are all part and parcel of Krishna, eternally, spirit, soul. We are all naturally attracted to Krishna. Once, because we have covered from by Maya, we're not attracted. But Prahalad was naturally attracted to Krishna. And they stand above the ritualistic principle of scriptures. But Prahalad is not a conditioned soul, like he have a previous janma. No, they're all liberated, Nitya Siddhas, the Nitya Muktas. They're all liberated souls, but they come to show us the pastime. Thus, they try to make further progress to achieve complete success. We know the story of Bharat Maharaj became a deer, and then he became Jada Bharat and gave transcendental advice to Rahugada Maharaj. This is an example for that. So, Vedas are referred to as Shabda Brahman, an advanced yogi surpasses the ritualistic principle of Vedas. They attracted to spiritual, not material principles of life. Devahudi also says, low birth does not matter. One who chants the holy name is far more advanced. And Haridas Thakur, even though was low born, but accepted as Namacharya by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, meaning that in his previous life. No, I'll post that in this link now. So he must surpass all the ritualistic method of Vedas. So anybody who's chanting the holy name surpasses all the ritualistic method of the yogas. So 45 says, Prayatnat yadamanastu yogi samshuddha kilbisha anega janma samsiddhas tato yadi param gati. And when the yogi engage himself with sincere endeavor in making further progress, being washed of all contaminations, then ultimately achieving perfection after many, many births of practice, attain the supreme goal after many, many births. Yesham to antakatam pabam jananam punya karmanam. That's what the course quoted here. Te dvanda mohanir muktam bhajante mam vrida vrida. Yesham to antakatam pabam. After many, many births of executing pious activities, when one is completely freed from all contamination and from all illusionary dualities, one become engaged in the trans-loving service of the Lord. So we have taken so many janmas to reach to Krishna consciousness. So we should not waste this life. We should definitely try to advance in Krishna consciousness. How much ever we can. whatever we can according to our capacity, like the squirrel who tried to help long to build the bridge. No, we don't have to compare others, our life with others, whatever, but we should be fair and serious in spiritual life and try to not like relaxing. Right. So here the process of a yogi is explained from 41 to 45, that he is born in a righteous aristocratic family. He becomes conscious of his favorable condition and sincere endeavor. He has to work for it with determination. Okay. He becomes completely pure, completely cleanses himself from contamination, become free from all, and attain supreme perfection, that is Krishna consciousness. Okay, now Bhakti Yogi is the topmost yogi that has been explained in the next two slokas. 46 says, Tapasvibhyo adhiko yogi, jnanibhyo abhimato adhikaha, karmabhyascha adhiko yogi, tasmad yogi bhavarjuna. A yogi is greater than the ascetic, greater than the emperist, and greater than the fruity worker. Therefore, Arjuna, in all circumstances, be a yogi. So yoga means linking to the Lord. Karma yoga, linking to the Lord through fruitive activities. Jnana yoga, linking to the Lord through empirical philosophy. And Bhakti yoga through devotional service. Bhakti yoga is the ultimate perfection of yoga. Anything short of that is imperfect. Okay. So ascetic without self-knowledge is imperfect. Empirical knowledge without surrender is imperfect. Karma yoga without Krishna consciousness, waste of time. So the best thing is to do Bhakti yoga. Yoginam abhi sarvesham adhyavenandaratana. Out of all the yogis, the one with great faith, who always abides in me, thinking of me within himself, renders transcendental loving service to me. He is the most intimately united with me in yoga and is the highest of all. That is my opinion. So Krishna says, somebody is Shraddhavan Bhajate Yoma. Bhaja means what? It's used when there is a need of service. The word worship does not convey the same meaning. Bhajate Yoman, Shraddhavan. Worship means to adore and to show respect and honor, but service means to with love and faith. It's meant for Krishna. Okay. So we have to do service to Krishna. It cannot be avoided. If we're not serving Krishna, we are serving Maya. One can avoid worshipping a respectable man or a demigod, but one cannot avoid serving the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Ya esham purusham shat atma prabhavam ishwaram jante avajananti sthana drashta patata. Anyone who does not service and neglects his duty and the Premier Lord, who is the source of all living entity, will suddenly fall down from his constitutional position. So highest yogi means somebody who concentrates on Krishna in his Shyam Sundara form. Ideal yogi means who concentrate on the beautifully colored Lord as a cloud, Shyam Sundar, lotus-like face as effulgent as the sun, who dress is brilliant with jewels and his body is flower garlanded, is illuminating all sides in his gorgeous luster. Now, how to achieve the highest yogic perfection? Only those great souls who have implicit faith in both the Lord and the spiritual master are all the imports of Vedic knowledge automatically revealed to him. Okay. So what that is what we have to do. So we should concentrate on Krishna. So here it is said, karma yoga without fruitive results is nishkama karma yoga. Nishkama karma yoga with knowledge and renunciation becomes jnana yoga, and jnana yoga with meditation is ashtanga yoga. And Ashtanga Yoga with realization of Krishna in devotion is Bhakti Yoga. But in Bhakti Yoga, we're not doing the Ashtanga Yoga as such, but then it is already included. Okay, because when you chant Hare Krishna, again pranayama is happening. You're controlling your breath slowly when you chant Hare Krishna. And asana is happening, you are sitting in a proper place. Yama, niyamas, we have 4 regulative principles. It's all included. So we'll stop here. That is with the comparison with the different yogic system, Karma, Jnana, and Ashtanga with Bhakti Yoga. So these 3 are the different steps of yogic ladder, and Bhakti Yoga is the goal, is the topmost. And these are progression towards the destination of Bhakti Yoga. So yoga actually means Bhakti Yoga. So there is selfish interest when you do Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, but Bhakti Yoga is selfless. It's only for Krishna. And they possess material desires in Karma Yoga, but Bhakti Yoga free from all material desires. So Jnana, Karma and all, they fail to achieve success in one life, but then guaranteed success in Bhakti Yoga. And in Ashtanga Yoga and all, they may stick to one point and fail to progress, but definitely make progress in Bhakti Yoga. When Karma Yoga increases in knowledge and renunciation is Jnana Yoga, when Ashtanga Yoga, the point of realization in Krishna is Bhakti. When Jnana Yoga increases in meditation is Ashtanga Yoga. Analogy is Krishna consciousness is the highest rung of yoga. The Mount Everest is the highest peak. Like that, Bhakti Yoga is the highest. So we'll have a quick breakout room. After breakout room, I'll post the attendance link. Discuss common misconceptions prevalent in our current times regarding the process and purpose of Ashtanga Yoga and refute them with reference to BG chapter 6 verse and purpose. So you have to quote the verses which refute Ashtanga Yoga, especially in Kali Yuga. Okay, in the current time, why Ashtanga Yoga is rejected, and using chapter 6 verse and purports. You can quote verse and purport from chapter 6, the whole chapter 6. I'm posting the question here. Just copy the question and paste it when you go to the breakout in the chat box. Okay, in current it is like, misconception, okay, regarding the process and purpose of Ashtanga Yoga and how is it refuted? Okay, why is it being refuted? That's the question. Now you can take slokas from chapter 6. Hare Krishna.